which means a strip mine ground. And if you look in the background, that's Peabody Coal Mine. And we was out there. We collected the best information that we never want to collect again in the middle of a drought. I mean, we don't ever want to see it. My dad's 82 years old. He's never seen anything like this. Never seen anything like this. So we was out there and we was digging this cord up, so all we had to look at was the roots. The Sumagrow had substantially more roots than the control. There was a road that went right up to this. On one side the Sumagrow was used, on the other side there was no Sumagrow used. There was a substantial yield difference in that corn. Now I'm not talking because what happened, the side with the Sumagrow pollinated, which means it has a chance. If it does not pollinate, there's nothing there. I mean, you can just knock it down, there's nothing that happens. But it did pollinate with the Sumagrow. And sometime it got a little char, which made grain. So there's a substantial difference in these two sides of the fields, because one side did pollinate and the other side didn't. This man right here, he was a soil engineer with NRCS, Natural Resources. He meets down at the coffee shop every morning. They get there about 5:30 in the morning. Man, that's early. And he sits there at the table every day. And he just listens to all the talk about Sumagrow, because Dean is sitting there and he's telling everybody what he knows, what he's done for the week, what he's done. This man just sat there. He would not say anything. He would not want to harm his reputation of what he tells people about this product. He sat there and he listened and he listened and he listened. And then one day they decided, well, hey, we're going out to Tom's house, which happened to be his buddy, and we're going to do a root dig. He says, I want to go. I want to see what you're talking about with my own eyes. So they went out there and they dug these soybeans. The soybeans without the Sumagrow had minimum roots, very little nodulation on the roots. The side with the Sumagrow had soybean nodules on the roots, looked considerably better, and had more pods set, about 25 to 30% more pods on that plant compared to that plant. That's a lot of difference in yield. Then they went over to the milo, and they dug up a milo plant, which has a considerable amount more roots. The plant is actually more healthy, but we don't see the top of him. He had a head on him. The side without the Sumagrow did not. From this point on, this man was a believer, and he could tell anybody. He says, call me. I will tell you what I saw. Then we go to my planter situation. And what I do, I plant in 30-inch rows, and I put Sumagrow in the row. I had Sumagrow broadcast over the whole field, but then I put it in the row, and I was going to use it as a root stimulator to stimulate the roots, to make them grow fast, to take in more nutrients as quick as possible. You look at that picture, it kind of looks like them beans are a little bit light, but in a minute, that is no-till. I will show you what they look like. And from the time I took this picture to the time I took the next one, it didn't rain. Dave come out, he said, hey, we might not have a whole lot of stuff to look at, but we can take a shovel and we can go dig roots. And that's exactly what we did. We went out there and we looked. And there's our roots with the Sumagrow on it, and there's the control without the Sumagrow. We got to noticing that the Sumagrow side started looking a lot better. We better go look again and see what's going on. So we get out there and we look again. The Sumagrow roots looked really healthy. We got to noticing that the control in the non-Sumagrow roots, they had something wrong with them. They had some kind of disease on them. We figured out it was Pythium. If you look real close right there, whoops. There we go. There it is right there. That bend in that, if you look real close, you'll see a canker where it busted the root open, which lets a virus in. And these beans looked really, really hard. And the drier it got, the worse they looked. Now, them beans that I showed you back earlier behind my house, there's what they look like now. No more rain. Just about a month and a half in time had passed. These beans did make beans. We got out there, and some of the people that I run around with, it's that's with the Illinois Extension. They went out and we had 14 days over 100 degrees. We had 3 days that was 106 degrees. We had 1 day that was 108. Some people says it's 109 degrees. They went out there with one of these laser pointers that you take temperatures with. On a 106 degree air temperature day, the soil was 170 degrees. We checked it up. You know, just point this laser, like this little laser here. A foot high on a corn plant on a 106 degree day was 112 degrees, hotter than the air temperature. And then we walked over to a soybean, and the soybean was 80 degrees. Soybean perspires moisture, so it can cool itself. That's the only reason that our soybeans made anything, is because they held on through the heat. Then we went out, we dug in our cornfields. And what this is a track right here where we applied the nitrogen in between the 30-inch row corn. We've never been able to do this that we did there. Like I said, we collected a lot of information that we don't ever want to collect again. That is black gumbo, which is black clay. You could just dig through it like it was powder. And there was these roots. That is 15 inches from the corn plant to the center there, going after the nitrogen that was applied there in the center of the row. Phenomenal amount of roots. There's the roots. We have the capillary, the hair roots. Then we have these little bitty white blurry stuff. Kind of look like a cobweb roots. You know, if you was in wet soil, there's no way that you could ever separate that out and ever seen anything like that. Then one day they said you need to come down to Hattiesburg and do a training session. My brother said, well, you better get out there and take some pictures. It won't do much good this winter when the snow's flying if you don't take any pictures. So I took off, and I got some pictures. This right here, this is with Sumagrow, and that happens to be on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side is the without. David was with me. He said, we're going to have to go way out there in the field just to get something that halfway compares to what we've got over here in the Sumagrow side. This next picture, I called him up one day and I said, Dave, I said, out there where we broadcast the Sumagrow, I said, our ground's not cracking. You know, whenever it gets really dry, our ground cracks. You could lose your billfold out there and need a backhoe to find it sometimes. And when it cracks, it pulls the roots apart. Plus, it dries out down that crack. I said, it's cracked where we didn't apply the Sumagrow. I said, where the Sumagrow was applied, I said, it's not cracked. He said, well, let's do this scientifically and let's go out there and find out what's wrong. I said, what do you mean? He said, take a yardstick, measure 20 feet, and tell me how many times it's cracked in between. I said, Dave, that's just 8 rows. Nope, we got to have a yardstick, didn't we, Dave? We had to have a measuring tape. So I went out there. 8 rows, it's got 7 middles. Had a crack in every middle where there was no Sumagrow. Where the Sumagrow was applied, which happened to be just on the other side of that little road back there a while ago, we had 1 to 2 cracks. So what our intention is to continue to use this product. Hopefully we'll have no cracks, which will crack our ground, which dries it out in dry weather. The reason we use Sumagrow is hopefully you only have a 5-7 day window, maybe 2 week at the most, 10 day of no rain in where we live in Illinois. We're not used to 2.5 months of no rain. Like Dave says, if it don't rain, it doesn't make any difference. But our crop just kept holding on, kept holding on, kept holding on. Dean down there at that coffee shop, he said, when are you going to call your crop dead? I said, Dean, I can't. Well, what do you mean? Everybody else's, they say theirs is dead. I said, no. I said, ours pollinated. All we need is just a little, we need more than 2/10. We would get 1/10 and we would get 2/10. And on a 106 degree day, that lasts till about 6:30 in the morning. It's just like a dew. This here's a picture of the Sumagrow and the non-Sumagrow. The Sumagrow's got the capillary roots, hair roots, got the main brace roots starting in. The non-Sumagrow just had the main roots. There was no hair roots. Considerable difference between the Sumagrow and the non-Sumagrow. This right here is our 2-year plot that back in 2011, me and Dave,